Turning Point USA has become the largest and fastest growing conservative youth activist organization in the country, with chapters on more than 3,500 high school and college campuses and more than 250,000 student members. Each semester, Charlie would set out on a nationwide campus tour to educate students on freedom, free markets, and limited government, and his Prove Me Wrong tables at those events where anyone could come up and debate him on any topic often went viral.
It's wrong to murder a baby.
You're not murdering a baby. It's not a baby.
What is it then?
It is an embryo.
What species is the baby in the womb?
It's a human, but it's
Therefore,
an
they should have
embryo.
human rights.
No, I do not agree.
Oh, so small humans, no human rights. Grown humans, human rights.
It's not a small human. It's an embryo.
It has a heartbeat. It has brain
That does
waves.
not make it a child.
The excuses given for abortion is dehumanization. Oh, it's just an embryo. Guys, that's just using different language to justify the massacre of something smaller than you.
He welcomed open, vigorous, and civil debate, even with those he disagreed with the most. And those kinds of perspectives and interactions played a big role in Turning Point's use of digital media to meet young people where they are on social media and with podcasts that have turned his once humble grassroots organizing efforts into a political force that President Trump and others have credited with helping him to take back the White House. Harris?
Garrett, thank you very much. And you know, you were just talking about this, how Charlie made college campuses really the focal point of his work. And here's more of his debating students with opposing viewpoints. He was famous for this.
He gave me the inspiration to critically think for myself and to have those tough conversations with other people. He inspired me in the best ways.
What Charlie Kirk and Turning Point did for this country is, you can't measure it.
I fully expected Charlie to be the governor of Arizona within the next decade, and probably a leader in the Republican Party and potentially even a president of the United States.
You know what? I know what he's talking about because half the time that's where I live. And Charlie and I would talk and he's like, Harris, I'm getting ready to do this big thing. And he wasn't kidding. My neighbors couldn't wait to vote for him for governor. And they were decades older than Charlie. I mean, he really galvanized people in his home state. Greg Gutfeld explains Charlie's powerful impact on young Americans.
The amazing thing about Turning Point was that it connected you with other people that may think like you. It wasn't like, hey, we're all going to become right-wingers. It was more like, you know, there are other people like you here. What he did was he was able to give students the confidence to sit in a classroom and challenge a professor when he says America is the land of the oppressed, the genociders, and this kid will raise his hand and go, you know what, maybe I disagree.
Well, let's bring in Macy Gannell and Turning Point USA president at St. Mary's College and the press secretary for College Republicans of America, and C.J. Pearson, RNC Youth Advisory Council co-chair. These are young conservatives, obviously on their come up, if you will. First of all, Macy, tell me the role that Charlie played in what's going on right now with you as a leader.
Charlie meant so much to not just me personally, but hundreds of thousands of students across the nation and millions across the world. He really birthed this great movement to bring back true American patriotism. He meant so much. He inspired so much to all of the students across the nation. And it was an honor to be able to know him, to work with him. And it's just absolutely devastating to see this loss. It's just, there's no words. There's absolutely no words. It's just horrific what we've seen, and it really is terrifying. It opens your eyes to see the evil that we face, and Charlie himself has even said it before, so it's really opened our eyes, and we are just so devastated at this loss.
CG, I'll come straight to you. I want to play some of this. It's when Charlie, just a few weeks ago, joined me right here on the Faulkner Focus. He spoke with me about a range of things, but really focused on young people. Watch this.
This movement that President Trump has started is only getting bigger. It has more energy, more enthusiasm, and it's strengthening. It's epic, it's real, and it's sustained. You know, some people thought, oh, it was just President Trump's election, and then young people are going to move to, back towards the left or back to the center. That is not correct. It's rebellion from the lockdowns during COVID. It is the political correctness. The next generation, they want to be able to own homes. They want to get married. They want to have kids. My message to any Republican senator or people on Capitol Hill, you guys have to understand there's a gift that has been given to you, that the next generation is finally Republican and conservative. We've been dreaming of this for 20, 30 years. Let's not mess it up. Let's fulfill that mandate, and let's make the future more conservative than ever.
CJ, that gives me chills now, because that is legacy that he's talking about. You and I have spoken about the push against conservative young people like yourself, and that pressure that society wants you to just be controlled, and would you please be a liberal?
No, you're exactly right. And the legacy that he leaves is going to be one of which giving young people the confidence to think for themselves. You know, this political assassin, this animal, thought that this bullet could silence a movement. But what that bullet actually did was expedite the movement of young people from the left. We will not be censored. We will not be silenced. We will not apologize for loving our country, loving our God, and supporting the idea of family in this country. That is the legacy that Charlie is leaving. And so when I think about what this assassin wanted to do, he wanted to silence young people like me. He wanted to silence young people like Macy. And we cannot allow him to do that. Young people need to be bold. They need to be courageous. They need to continue to fight, because this is the only free country that we have, as great as it is, in the world. And we will lose it if we don't fight.
Macy, are you concerned that this is going to discourage conservative speakers from coming to college campuses like yours?
It may, Harris, it may. But you know what? Coming off of what CJ said, I hope not. Because is that what Charlie would want? Absolutely not. What Charlie would want is he would lead with the same bravery and courage that he has led over the past several years with. And everything that he's done, the example he set for us, it has built this movement. And we owe it to him to continue his legacy and to continue fighting exactly like he would. So to all the evil monsters out there who, I know we're still out there because we see so many people celebrating this, you are not going to win. You are not going to silence us. We are going to be louder and bolder than ever before, because that's what Charlie would want.
Yeah, and those schools had better wise up too, CJ. I mean, they've got to make sure that those voices are still coming. Maybe they change the venue, they take it inside. 15 seconds, go to you, CJ.
Hopefully, you know, unfortunately, our college campuses have become indoctrination labs rather than places of education. It's a shame that this would happen on a college campus. The fact that he was welcoming discourse, not silencing it, and he still lost his life because of it, is cause for concern for everyone.
God bless you both. Thank you for being with me. Outnumbered after the break.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.